Hi folks, just enjoying the evening sun, lighting up the madhouse. I haven't posted for a while, so hopefully following this will be a little bit of something. Hopefully a bit about the plane, yeah, I'm just trying to get back into it because I sort of lost my mojo a little bit. So a bit about the plane, and then a little bit about radio stuff hopefully coming up, and also a bit about hydro maybe even, and some other various projects and bits and pieces. So yeah, hopefully that's of some interest. So something should be coming after this little intro. So there we are. But what an evening! It's a great time of day. I think they call it golden hour, don't they? So yeah, nice to be here. Right, so after I've had a bit of a scarfing lesson, it's been a few weeks, I went to see my inspector, had a bit of a scarfing lesson, and turns out scarfing things together is still quite difficult. I just thought I'd talk through some of the bits and pieces that I've learned maybe. I'm using a Dremel, one of these things. Everyone I've seen doing this has been using an air, oh god, what's it called? Sorry, my mind's gone blank. Uses an air-powered kind of pistol-shaped thing, whose name I can't remember. A die grinder, that's it. So this is probably not the best tool for the job maybe, but this is what I've got, and I can't really spend the money putting air into the workshop, unfortunately. But if you do have air, well, good for you. I would go with the die grinder, but the disc is essentially the same thing, a 2-inch disc. So this is my second attempt at cutting the scarf. I started off at this end. You can see I got it all kinds of wrong to start with. This is basically not recoverable. The area where it goes too deep here, you can't really get that back. I'm going to have to. I'm treating this as a practice run, so I'm going to have to cut it back a bit further and do it again. This is not cheap, this ply, so this is an expensive process, but there's no substitute for practice really. I think this bit in the middle here I'm quite pleased with. So I was all kinds of wrong there. I think I was running on a too aggressive a disc, and also I think I was running too fast. So I kind of found that slower is better. It's different with air and with electric. That might be another reason why air is popular, but with the electric you kind of have to have it set up, as far as I can tell, so that as you move the tool across the work, it kind of almost slows down to a standstill. That way you don't get you get tear out. So I can see if I'm going too fast, you can see the material kind of tearing out where it gets to the really thin stuff. But if you're going slow, it doesn't seem to. I've got some tape. I'm not sure what I did in the last video because it was so long ago, it's probably part of this video, but I've got tape behind to help support the material. But you can start. I've got yellow masking tape, and you can start to see the yellow coming through. So yeah, so run slower. I think slower is better. And yeah, it's like a sweeping action. You need the disc rotating this way, and you're cutting on that end of the disc, so you're sort of sweeping the material off rather than pulling it in. I can see that makes sense. That's what I was told. So you want to have the disc kind of angled like that almost, so your cutting edge is kind of, or your grinding edge is going like this across the work. And yeah, a 45-degree action like that. When I was actually shown how to do this, it's a bit awkward. I was standing this side of the workpiece, rather than, because I've got a long sheet of ply here, I can't actually I can't stand on this side and work kind of away from me, so I have to stand on this side and kind of work kind of across my front. But this bit in the middle here I'm quite pleased with. I seem to get it right there, but then I seem to kind of lose it a little bit over here, which is a bit annoying. So I'm not quite sure what. Once you've got a decent rhythm going and you've got a nice front and you're sweeping across and sort of pulling the material back, you can see these kind of contour lines start to emerge, and really you're just trying to push those contour lines back to the right place. Once you've got a bit of a rhythm going, it seems to sort of almost do itself, but as soon as you lose it, things go a bit wrong, which is annoying because I'm not quite sure. I think I just need to do more practice. I mean, fortunately, if I just cut this back a little bit, I can kind of start again, and obviously if I cut it back far enough, then I've got enough material to cut the slope back into it. So I think I can do a few iterations of just easing myself back through this whip piece about, half an inch at a time while I practice, and then I guess eventually one of my practice cuts will be good enough to be the real deal. So yeah, so what I haven't, so I just thought I'd show you what I've done anyway and what it looked like. So this was me getting it wrong, this was me getting it right. I changed something and it's kind of cocked up here, and then I think part of the reason that this doesn't look quite right is I think I was cramping, I was getting too close to myself and I wasn't taking a step back. So what I haven't done yet is ultimately you'd finish this off with a sanding block. So what I also might be doing is trying to get it to perfect with the die grinder. I could probably afford to do less with the die grinder and then do a bit more with the sanding block, because I think the sanding block might be a little bit less aggressive again, and also because it's a flat surface, then you kind of it hopefully might be inherently a bit more stable and less prone to kind of taking scoops out of the material like I've done here. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. I need to keep doing this and get a decent, once I've got a decent scarf cut, I'll whack that in the next video probably. But this is where I've been while I've been away and not really doing much, is just trying to learn how to do this, and also flying the new aircraft, the RF5, which I've got a share in. So I've done 2 solos in that, 2 solo circuits. I'd really quite like to get some footage of that up, just to show that the flying is really happening, but I'm not really organised for that yet, and I need to get my head around it. Like everything else with life and work and family and all the rest, it's hard to fit it in. Anyway, okay, that'll do for now. But yeah, still at it. Next step, yeah, I think I'm going to go back a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch, new line, and then cut off the thin bit at the end. So I've got a new section to work with, and then have another go, and just keep doing that till I start to get it right. It's also quite hard on your back as well, because you have to kind of lean at a slightly awkward angle. But no one said this was going to be easy, so there we are. Okay, so it's a few days later, and this is where that particular joint got to. I hope you'll agree that's a much better cut than where I left it off last time. I spent quite a lot of time working on it with a sanding block to get to this point, and I think that is acceptable for what we need to do. So I just need to work on the other side. I had a go at it the same day as I did this, and I was a bit tired, and I immediately started to go completely wrong. It's one of those things where you have to get into a bit of a flow, and I wasn't in that flow, so I stopped, and then loads of other life stuff happened. So yeah, so this is this side. I'm going to try and do a bit more on it maybe tomorrow morning before work. On the mating side, on the other side, yeah, at the end of this week, going to be pouring a big slab of concrete at the gliding club, and then maybe taking the RF5 for a spin. First time I've ever rigged it and flown it on my own, kind of thing, not without any grown-ups looking after me. So that will be quite exciting if it happens. I'll maybe try and document that. But yeah, so this is where I'm at with that side. Yeah, sanding block, hard sanding block with some fine sandpaper, and you just got to keep going and going and going and going until you've got it done. Okay, all right. So that'll be definitely it for this bit, and yeah, bring you back in when I've got the other side done, maybe if I've got them glued together.